Welcome back to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we recalibrate your biology and rediscover your direction. I'm your host, Brandon Soika, and today's episode might be the most important one yet. Because if you've ever looked in the mirror, looked at your plate, looked at your workout tracker, and thought, I'm doing everything right, so why am I still gaining weight? You're not alone, and you're not crazy. You're also not broken. Your body is not betraying you. It's communicating. In this episode, we're going to decode what that weight really means, especially when it doesn't seem to make sense. We'll unpack the biology behind unexplained weight gain, the outdated advice that's keeping you stuck, and give you a brand new lens for understanding fat, inflammation, energy, and safety. And no, this won't be another episode telling you to eat less and move more. It's time to talk about why your body's holding on and what to do when willpower isn't the problem. You're doing everything right. You cut back on sugar, you're eating whole foods, you've been exercising, maybe even tracking your steps, your calories, and your macros. You've tried intermittent fasting, green smoothies, gut resets, you've bought the supplements, you're saying no to late night snacks, you've said yes to celery juice. You've done the work, but still, your weight won't budge, or worse, it's gone up. You feel puffy, heavy, bloated, frustrated, like your body is working against you. And even though you know you're trying, that little voice creeps in. What's wrong with me? You're not alone. This experience is everywhere, especially among women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, especially among the ones doing everything right. And yet no one seems to have an answer that actually makes sense. So today, we're going to ask a new question. Not how do I lose this weight, but something far more important. Why is my body holding on to it in the first place? Because here's what I want you to hear right from the beginning. You are not broken, you are not lazy, and your weight is not a reflection of your willpower. It's a reflection of your biology, and more specifically, your biology trying to protect you. Now, your body doesn't gain without reason. So let's break something wide open. It doesn't gain or resist losing weight just because. There's always a reason. It might not be what your fitness tracker tells you. It might not be what your calorie counter says, but it's there. And that reason is almost never about eating too much or moving too little. It's about how your body perceives the world it's living in. So if your system is inflamed, stressed, under-recovered, or missing key signals of safety, it will hold on to weight. Not as a punishment, not as rebellion, but as protection. And the more effort you throw at the weight without understanding the message underneath it, the more you end up exhausting yourself and pushing your biology further into survival mode. The Metabolic Compass view why your direction matters. This is exactly where the compass framework becomes so powerful. Most people focus only on what they're doing. I'm eating healthy, I'm working out, I'm doing intermittent fasting. But that's like pressing the gas in a car without checking the road signs. You might be accelerating, but in the wrong direction. So in the compass model, we don't just ask what you're doing. We ask, which direction are you drifting? And is your body even ready to release weight yet? In most cases, people with mystery weight gain aren't failing at fat loss. They're applying effort in a direction their biology can't cooperate with yet. That direction is almost always rooted in nurture. Your body doesn't feel safe. Stress, trauma, poor sleep, or gut inflammation are sending the message. Now is not the time to let go. Or maybe it's rooted in Energize. Your mitochondria are overloaded. Oxidative stress and redox imbalance are blocking energy production, so your body downshifts, storing more and burning less. From the outside, you're gaining weight. On the inside, your biology is adapting. That's not failure, that's feedback. So let's flip the script. What if your weight gain, especially when it doesn't make sense, isn't a problem to fix, but a signal to decode? What if it's your body telling you that the stress load is too high, the recovery signal is too low, the energy systems are out of sync, the gut-liver-brain axis is inflamed? And your biology isn't in release mode, it's in protect mode. You don't solve that with more restriction. You solve it with restoration. And that's what this episode is about. In the next segment, we'll dig deeper into why your body holds on to the weight, even when you're doing everything right. You'll see how weight gain is often your body's smartest move in a world that keeps asking it to perform under threat. Because when you understand that weight is a communication system, not a character flaw, you finally stop fighting your body and start partnering with it. So let's start here. Your biology is not misbehaving. It's not resisting change because it's lazy. It's not holding on to fat because it doesn't get it. It's not trying to punish you. Your body is not stubborn. It's smart. And if it's not letting go of weight, there's a reason, one rooted in protection, not dysfunction. In the Metabolic Compass model, we teach that symptoms are signals, not signs of failure, not flaws in willpower, but adaptive responses to a changing internal environment. Weight is one of the clearest examples. If your body is holding on to weight, especially fat around the midsection, it's often not because you're eating too much or moving too little. It's because your survival systems have taken over. That includes chronic stress, perceived threat equals stored energy, inflammation, injured cells equal retained fluid and fat to buffer damage, blood sugar instability, protect against perceived famine, leptin resistance, brain doesn't hear we have enough fat. So when we zoom out, we start to see a clearer picture. Your body is actually doing exactly what it was designed to do, not to sabotage you, but to save you from what it thinks is a hostile environment. The problem isn't your body's intelligence, it's that the inputs you're giving it are being interpreted as stress signals, even when your intentions are the opposite. So let's look at one of the most common root causes of unexplained weight gain: nurture domain drift. This is when your body doesn't feel safe. And safety isn't about how you feel emotionally, it's about how your nervous system and immune system are responding at a cellular level. Maybe you're waking up too early or not sleeping deeply, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, doing HIIT classes while under emotional stress, fasting long hours while parenting, working, and multitasking, skipping meals to burn more fat only to feel anxious or flat later. In isolation, none of those are inherently bad, but together they can tip your stress load over the edge. And when your body perceives persistent threat, it shifts into protection mode. Cortisol rises, insulin sensitivity drops, estrogen detox slows, digestion becomes impaired, fat storage increases, especially around the belly. Why? Because your body is trying to preserve resources, to keep you alive, to prepare for famine, danger, or injury. This is why telling someone in nurture drift to just eat less is not only wrong, it's damaging. It adds more stress to a system that's already maxed out. So now let's zoom in on the Energize domain. This is about how well your mitochondria, the energy power plants in your cells, are working. When mitochondria sense danger, inflammation, or oxidative stress, they don't keep running at full speed. They downshift. That means fewer calories are burned at rest. You feel more tired even after sleep. Fatigue hits harder after workouts. You crave sugar or quick energy. Your muscles feel flatter even though you're eating clean. This is your body trying to conserve energy, not burn it. And when that happens, fat storage increases even without overeating. This is how people end up in a frustrating place where they're moving more, eating less, and still gaining weight. Because metabolism isn't just about fuel in versus fuel out. It's about how well your cells can use that fuel. And when they're in defense mode, they stop investing energy in performance and start doing it for protection. Now, when we zoom out, we can see the shift clearly. What feels like stubborn weight gain is actually smart adaptation. What feels like failure is actually feedback. What feels like your body fighting you is your biology saying, this isn't the time to let go. And the more that you push harder without addressing the stress signals beneath the surface, the more the body resists. So The goal isn't to override your biology. It's to work with it, to shift the signal from defense to trust, from hold to release. And that starts by identifying what's silently driving your metabolism to protect instead of perform. So, in the next segment, we'll unpack those hidden drivers, from redox imbalance and mitochondrial misfires to the sneaky role of leptin resistance and cellular inflammation. Because once you understand the terrain, you can finally stop guessing and start recalibrating. Here's the part most people never get told. Your weight isn't just influenced by food and exercise. In fact, many of the most stubborn weight challenges have nothing to do with calories at all. They're biochemical, they're systemic, and they're often invisible until they've already shifted how your body functions. Let's break down the hidden drivers of weight gain that don't show up on your scale until they do. First one, redox imbalance, the energy leak you can't see. Remember how in episode 7, we talked about redox balance, the dance between oxidation and repair? When that balance tips towards oxidative stress, whether from poor sleep, inflammation, blood sugar swings, overtraining, or even oversupplementation, your mitochondria stop producing clean energy. Instead of fueling your body with stable power, they start leaking sparks. And your body feels that damage, so it compensates. You become more tired. You move less throughout the day without realizing it. Your metabolism slows down, not because it's lazy, but because it's protecting you from further stress. This is the energy downshift, and it plays a massive role in weight gain that doesn't make sense. 2, leptin resistance. When your body stops listening, leptin is your body's internal fuel gauge. It's secreted by fat cells and tells your brain, hey, we've got plenty of stored energy, we're good. But in people with high inflammation, stress, or poor sleep, especially during perimenopause, this signal gets muffled. That's called leptin resistance. Even if your fat cells are full, your brain doesn't hear the message. So what does it do? It slows your metabolism, increases hunger, triggers sugar cravings, and makes your body more resistant to fat loss. Leptin resistance isn't about having too much fat, it's about having too much inflammation around the signal. And unless you fix the inflammation, you can't fix the feedback. 3, low-grade inflammation, silent but metabolically loud. You don't need a fever to be inflamed. Modern life exposes us to daily low-grade inflammation through processed foods, alcohol, poor sleep, emotional stress, gut dysfunction, environmental toxins, blood sugar roller coasters, you name it. When your body is inflamed, it activates your immune system quietly but consistently. That triggers the storage response. Fat gets stored to buffer toxic load. Water gets retained to dilute inflammatory compounds. Detox slows down. Hormone metabolism gets sluggish. This is why your weight might jump 3 to 5 pounds in a few days and not be from fat. It's inflammatory retention, and the solution isn't to cut more calories, it's to calm the fire. 4, mitochondrial dysfunction, the low power mode. Your mitochondria determine how many calories you burn at rest, not just during the day. But when they're overloaded, especially in the Energize drift, they shift into survival mode. ATP output decreases, fat oxidation slows, recovery lags, mental fatigue increases. So even if your habits stay the same, your resting energy burn drops. This is what we call metabolic compensation, your biology adapting to stress by becoming more fuel efficient. In evolutionary terms, that's a good thing. In modern life, it feels like your body is sabotaging you. But it's not sabotage, it's self-preservation. So here's a bonus for you. The other place where this can go wrong is the gut-liver-brain axis. All of this that we just talked about is made worse when your gut and liver are inflamed. Lipopolysaccharide and endotoxins from a leaky gut travel to the liver. The liver becomes overloaded, triggering systemic inflammation. That inflammation affects the brain's hunger and stress regulation, and you end up trapped in a loop of cravings, fatigue, and storage. Now, this is why the Driven North core formula matters so much. It's designed to help restore gut-liver signaling through ingredients like butyrate from Biomend, immunolin, and solanol, which support barrier integrity, immune calibration, and microbial balance. And when your gut and liver start talking to each other again, your weight signal starts normalizing without force. So here's the takeaway. You're not gaining weight because you're broken. You're gaining weight because your body is adapting to an internal environment that feels unsafe, inflamed, and energetically unstable. The solution isn't to force fat loss. It's to lower the internal threat level so your body can stop holding on and start letting go. In the next segment, we'll explore a painful truth, why the very things you're doing to fix your weight might be the very things making it worse. Because biology isn't about doing more, it's about doing what works for where you are. Let's talk about the part no one wants to admit. Sometimes, especially when your biology is already under stress, the very thing you're told to do, the clean eating, the calorie tracking, the high intensity workouts, the fasting windows, the biohacking protocols, can actually make things worse. Not because those tools are inherently bad, but because they don't match what your body needs right now. So let's break this down. More effort does not mean more results. In a world that praises discipline and hustle, it's tempting to believe that if something's not working, you just need to try harder. Do more cardio, cut carbs, extend your fast, increase your steps, eat even cleaner. But here's the biological truth. You can't out-discipline a body that feels unsafe. When your metabolism has shifted into a state of defense, due to inflammation, redox imbalance, or chronic nervous system overdrive, more effort isn't interpreted as progress. It's interpreted as more threat. And your body responds accordingly. Cortisol rises, thyroid function slows, sex hormone production drops, mitochondria downshift, fat is stored and not burned. You're trying to burn more, but your body is trying to survive more. This mismatch creates what I call the try harder trap. And it's where most people get stuck. The fasting backfire. Fasting can be an incredible tool when your system is stable. But if you're already drifting in nurture or energize, skipping meals might be one of the fastest ways to increase cortisol, worsen insulin resistance, and trigger fat storage. Here's why. Fasting tells your body, we don't have fuel right now. That's fine if your body feels safe and flexible. But if your stress load is high or your redox balance is poor, fasting is interpreted as a scarcity signal. And in response, your body increases fat storage, especially visceral fat. You crave sugar or carbs later in the day, you overeat in the evening or snack at night, you sleep worse and wake up more tired. Your weight plateaus or increases. That's not failure, that's physiology. HIIT, cortisol, and the myth of more burn. High-intensity training is often glorified as the fastest way to burn fat. And in the right context, it can be. But here's the problem. HIIT raises cortisol, triggers an inflammatory response, and demands recovery capacity that most people in metabolic drift simply don't have. If you're already stressed, under-recovered, or inflamed, HIIT can become just another stressor your body has to survive. So instead of burning fat, you end up worsening your sleep, spiking hunger later in the day, slowing your thyroid output, and triggering the exact same fat storage mechanisms you were trying to avoid. It's not that exercise is bad. It's that the type of exercise has to match your biology. And when your system is in repair mode, not performance mode, what it actually needs is walking, low impact movement, zone 2 cardio, mobility work, strength training, but with recovery built in. This is how you rebuild metabolic trust, not just metabolic burn. So let's talk about clean eating. It sounds virtuous and often is, but if clean eating becomes ultra low carb, too low in protein, full of raw or cold foods, missing diversity or color, overloaded with nut flours and artificial sweeteners, your body may interpret that as deprivation, not nourishment. Especially for women, a diet that's too low in total calories, carbs, or protein can shut down ovulation, slow the thyroid, and increase cortisol output, leading to weight gain even on healthy food. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do to tell your body you're safe, we're fed, we can let go, is to eat a protein-rich meal within 90 minutes of waking. 30 grams of protein in the morning stabilizes blood sugar, blunts the cortisol spike, activates muscle building pathways, increases satiety, reduces late night cravings. And more importantly, it flips the metabolic switch from defend to rebuild. So what works has to match where you are. You can't follow someone else's weight loss protocol if it's designed for a body that's not inflamed, stressed, or fatigued. If your body is in metabolic drift, it needs stability, rhythm, deep nourishment, gentle movement, and signals of safety, not scarcity. The good news? When you align with your biology instead of fighting it, everything changes. So, in the next segment, we'll help you recognize the early signs that your biology is drifting, even if your labs look normal. Because before you can change the signal, you have to learn to read it. So let's be real. Most people don't suddenly gain 15 pounds overnight. It happens gradually, subtly, quietly. At first, it's not even the number on the scale that changes. It's the feel of your body. Your pants fit differently. Your face looks puffier in photos. Your rings feel tighter. You feel heavier before the mirror confirms it. You're bloated, but not sure why. You look inflamed, even though your diet is clean. And then you go to the doctor. You get labs done. Everything comes back normal. Your thyroid is fine. Your hormones look okay. You're just getting older. So you're told to eat less, move more, and keep trying. But deep down, you know something's off. That internal alarm that something's drifting? You're right. You just haven't had a way to measure it until now. Metabolic drift is the slow, progressive shift away from cellular coordination. It doesn't show up as a disease, not at first. It shows up as the body falling out of sync. Your biology is no longer communicating cleanly across systems, and the result? You feel like your body is doing things without your permission, holding water, craving sugar, flattening your energy, slowing digestion, storing fat, losing muscle tone. These aren't failures. They're early warning signs. So let's decode them. Signs of nurture drift. In the nurture domain, weight gain tends to be fluid retention, stress storage, and immune reactivity. Key soft signs include puffiness in the face, fingers, or lower belly, waking up tired even after 7 to 8 hours of sleep, sensitive digestion, bloating after healthy meals, high resting heart rate or HRV that won't stabilize, nighttime awakenings or vivid dreams, and more anxious or irritable in the morning. These are signs your nervous system and immune system are operating in high alert mode. Your body is holding on to weight not because of calories, but because it doesn't feel safe to release. Signs of Energize. In the Energize domain, you're looking at early mitochondrial downshift and redox imbalance. So that looks like cold hands and feet, even in warm weather, wired but tired at night, energy crashes after meals, needing more caffeine to function, flat mood or low motivation, loss of muscle fullness or strength despite training. You might even notice your body composition changing even though your weight hasn't. More fat, less lean tissue. That's a classic clue that mitochondrial efficiency is declining. When this happens, your body burns fewer calories at rest, even when you're doing everything right. So, why your labs look fine until they don't? One of the biggest frustrations in the medical world is this. Symptoms often show up years before labs change. That's not your fault. It's a limitation of how we measure biology. Standard labs only flag a problem once it's severe enough to become a diagnosis. But what about the years before that? That's the world of functional drift. Your TSH may be normal, but your thyroid isn't activating energy well. Your glucose may be normal, but your post-meal spikes are wild. Your liver enzymes may be fine, but your detox capacity is overloaded. Your inflammation markers might not be flagged, but you feel inflamed. This is why relying only on labs misses the mark. Your body is far more nuanced and far more communicative than a blood test can capture. That's why we created tools like the Hallmarks of Aging checklist and drift quiz to help you track drift before damage. Because you don't need to wait for your body to break in order to hear what it's been whispering all along. Your body is the new lab. You don't need a diagnosis to validate what you're feeling. You don't need to prove to anyone that your weight gain is real. You just need to read the patterns. Am I tired in a way I didn't used to be? Am I storing fat in places that used to be lean? Is my appetite unpredictable? Are my emotions less stable than they were 6 months ago? Do I feel like I'm operating at 70% even though I'm doing everything right? If the answer to any of those is yes, your biology is giving you a data point. Not to shame you, but to guide you. And the good news, you can change it once you know how to speak its language. In the next segment, we'll show you exactly how to begin. What foods, nutrients, and supplements can help shift that signal from storage back to release. Because weight is not a willpower problem, it's a wiring problem. And we're about to help you rewire it. You've heard me say it before, your body isn't fighting because it's defective. It's defending you because it feels threatened. Stubborn weight is often a security system that got stuck on high alert. So let's spend the next few minutes teaching that system to relax and to release. First, a quick mindset shift. We are not going to push harder, starve longer, or punish ourselves thinner. We're going to send smarter signals. The question is simple. How can I show my biology that it's safe to let go? Anchor the morning. Picture your first meal like the opening music in a movie. If that soundtrack is frantic, just coffee and cortisol, your brain hears danger, danger, danger. Instead, try this. Within 90 minutes of waking, hit 30 grams of high-quality protein, 2 pasture-raised eggs, plus half a cup of egg whites, or a collagen and almond butter smoothie, or last night's chicken over spinach. When protein lands early, blood sugar steadies, the cortisol spike flattens, and your metabolism gets the message we're fed, we're safe. It's a biological green light for fat release later in the day. Lower the threat level. Now let's zoom in on silent inflammation. It's the backstage fire alarm telling fat cells to hunker down. You can calm that alarm with kitchen choices and a few targeted nutrients. Start with extra virgin olive oil. Its natural building block, OEA, signals appetite under control and nudges fat burn genes. Layer in herbs like turmeric, rosemary, and ginger. They dial down the same inflammatory switches that lock fat in storage. For an extra edge, look at supplements that contain Axivite. That's a next-gen form of capsaicin, think chili pepper 2.0, designed to warm up brown fat without the usual stomach burn. Or track down a formula featuring metabolics, the patent-pending chromium polyuracilate I helped develop. Metabolics fine-tunes insulin signaling and eases inflammatory stress inside fat cells. Together, these signals whisper, energy can flow out now, the emergency is over. Recharge the engines. Even with perfect hormones, you can't burn fuel if your cellular engines, your mitochondria, are sputtering. Their language is redox, the balance between making energy and cleaning up the exhaust. You can start improving that balance today. Snack on 2 Brazil nuts for selenium. Brew a mug of green tea. Add wild-caught salmon once or twice a week for natural astaxanthin. If supplements fit your routine, look for ones that blend N-acetylcysteine with stabilized R-alpha-lipoic acid, ergothioneine, and CoQ10. N-acetylcysteine rebuilds glutathione. R-ALA helps shuttle fuel. Ergothioneine slips into special transporter that guards mitochondria. And CoQ10 keeps the electron chain humming. None of these is a magic pill, but each one nudges your cells towards we have what we need, we can let the burners run hotter. Pulling it all together. So here's the week 1 checklist. No products required. 30 grams of protein anchor at breakfast. Color every plate. Berries, pomegranate, leafy greens, polyphenols calm oxidation. Walk daily, train smart. Movement that leaves you energized, not wrecked, tells the brain you live in a safe environment. Guard your sleep like it's a side hustle. 8 hours is worth more than any fat burn capsule. Pause before you snack. A single slow exhale lengthens your parasympathetic brake pedal. Supplements are optional amplifiers. Lifestyle is the dial. If you do explore supplements, flip the label over and look for the names we just discussed. Axivite, Metabolics, N-acetylcysteine or NAC, R-alpha-lipoic acid or RALA, ergothioneine, CoQ10, astaxanthin. Pair them with real food and real rest, and you'll compound the signal. Remember, sustainable weight loss is a conversation, not a confrontation. When your body trusts the environment, it stops hoarding and starts flowing. You don't have to force that shift. You have to invite it. Safety first, release second. So quick recap. The tools we just covered: protein anchoring, inflammation lowering spices, redox support nutrients, gentle movement, deep sleep, are all simple ways to tell your biology you're safe and you can let go. No special programs, no upcoming product launches. You can start today. And that sets us up for what's next. In segment 7, we're going to zoom out and ask a different question. What if your weight isn't a verdict at all? What if it's a compass reading? We'll unpack how to rebuild trust with the body that feels stuck, how to measure progress without obsessing over pounds, and I'll introduce a quick drift quiz that pinpoints which compass direction your biology is drifting, so you know exactly where to begin recalibrating. Stick around. When you learn to read weight as a signal rather than a setback, you'll realize you're already much closer to your goal than you think. You've just heard a lot about why weight gain happens even when you're doing everything right. When your body might be in drift, not defiance. Why calories don't explain everything. Why traditional protocols sometimes make things worse. And what the real solution is: rebuilding trust between you and your biology. Because when you strip away the noise, here's what weight gain really is. It's the body's last resort attempt to keep you alive in an environment it doesn't feel safe in. It's not laziness. It's not lack of willpower. It's not your metabolism being broken. It's adaptation. But adaptation can be reversed when you change the input. And that's what you're learning to do now. When your body gains weight, it's not punishing you. It's trying to communicate with you. That bloat, that fatigue, that lower belly puffiness or late night hunger, each of those is a signal, a point on the map. Not to shame you, but to reorient you. And here's the truth most health experts won't say. You can love your body and still want to change it. You can accept where you are and still take the next step. You can stop trying to shrink yourself and start expanding your understanding. This is what the Metabolic Compass is here for. Not to give you a set of rules, but a tool for interpretation. Not to tell you what's wrong, but to show you what's drifting and how to recalibrate. We need to stop measuring success only in pounds lost, or inches dropped. Instead, ask, am I sleeping better? Is my digestion calmer? Are my energy and mood more stable? Am I eating with presence instead of punishment? Do I feel safer in my own biology? When you see change at this level, your body starts cooperating. That's how fat loss happens sustainably, not from control, but from communication. So if you're thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I actually apply this? Good news. We built the next step for you. If your weight has been shifting and nothing seems to work the way it used to, there's a reason. It's not just about what you're eating or how much you're moving. It's about what biological direction your body has shifted into. And that's why we built the drift quiz. It helps you identify which compass domain you're drifting in, why your body may be stuck in defense mode, and what first recalibration step will actually match your biology. You'll stop guessing and start understanding. Take the free quiz now at themetaboliccompass.com/quiz and begin reading your biology like a map, not a mystery. There are thousands of people listening right now who feel the same way you do. They've counted the calories, they've tracked the macros, they've done the boot camps and the 30-day challenges, and they're still wondering, why doesn't this work for me anymore? And if that's you, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're biologically brilliant and your body is doing its job. Now it's your turn to do yours, to shift the signal, to listen without judgment, to act from clarity, not fear, and to finally move not toward a number on a scale, but toward a body that works with you again. Coming up next on the Metabolic Compass podcast, now that you understand how weight is often a signal of drift, you might be wondering, but wait, what about the supplements I'm already taking? The magnesium, the turmeric, the fish oil, the B complex. Why aren't those working either? That's exactly what we're covering next. In episode 9, why your supplements aren't working yet. We'll unpack why even perfectly chosen supplements often fail to move the needle, not because they're ineffective, but because your biology isn't ready to receive them. We'll show you why absorption isn't the real problem, the missing role of redox, rhythm, and timing, and how to finally unlock the benefit of protocols you've been following. So if you've got a supplement cabinet full of good intentions, episode 9 is going to change the way you think and save you hundreds of dollars. One final thought. If your body is talking to you, don't shut it up. Don't silence the symptoms with shame or shortcuts. Lean it. Ask better questions. Follow the compass, not the scale. Because once you recalibrate your biology, you don't just lose weight. You gain clarity, energy, and trust. And that's a direction worth moving in. You've been listening to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we bridge cutting-edge science with real-life application to help you reclaim your health one directional shift at a time. To learn more, visit us at www.themetaboliccompass.com or follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Metabolic Compass. And if you haven't already, leave a review. It helps others find their way back to alignment too. Recalibrate your biology, rediscover your direction.